Hi there guys, and here is yet another Nationstates engine build. It's for the car we've designed on the third Let's Design a Weird Car Together thread on the Nationstates forums. And because it's a weird car, some parts are going to be a bit odd in this mix. But okay, this engine is an inline-6 with an aluminum silicate block and head and 84.9mm of bore plus 79.3mm of stroke, which means that it's about 2.7 liters big. It's also got a direct acting overhead cam, which is an old technology that shouldn't really be used on cars, but it's meant to be a weird car. It's got no VVL, a cast iron crank with I-beam billet titanium con rods and low friction gas pistons. The compression is really low, like 6.0 to 1, mainly because this engine is meant to simulate the performance of a diesel made to run on really low grade fuel, vegetable oil. That's why the cam profile is so high, because otherwise it wouldn't run on such fuel. It's also naturally aspirated, and it's got a carburetor to simulate the fact that the engine is running on low grade fuel, vegetable oil to be exact, that cannot be put into the engine by a normal fuel injection system, by a modern fuel injection system. So it simulates the old injection pumps, the old injection pumps on diesels. But it's got a race intake, which is for really powerful cars. The fuel mixture is pretty lean, and the ignition timing is average. The engine revs up to 5500 RPM. It can rev higher, but as it's meant to be a diesel, I didn't want it to be revving so unrealistically high, so I left it at there. And it looks like my computers decided to block everything up and freeze. Actually, physics is also blocking everything up because my camera mount doesn't want to hold up, and this man, screw this computer. See, if you say something mildly obscene to your computer, it will work, guaranteed. And the exhaust is a race tubular, the fabricated sort of exhaust, or what they call a basket of snakes. Yep, that's an actual name for that sort of an exhaust. There's a single exit, no muffler bypass, and here we can see how I adjust an engine. Is the exhaust too big? Yes, it is. So we're gonna get it smaller. 2.50 inches. That works. Yes. 2 inches. 1.75. That's too small. 1.5 inches is the magic number. And here we've got the stats for the whole thing. Well, they're not the actual stats, of the engine would have a twin turbo setup. It's a diesel, so it would have more torque than shown here, but okay, it'll tell you the stats with the turbo. I won't bother with the stats in game. So with the turbo it will have about, let me calculate, 202 horsepower and around 250, 480, some maybe more, maybe even 500 Newton-meters of torque, so it will have over 350 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty good going. Performance index is pretty average, but the throttle response is bad. The engine is not as loud as I expected it to be, and it's not too smooth, and it's not reliable. That doesn't need a lot of cooling. Well, with the turbos it will need a lot of cooling, and it's pretty average in size, but the service costs, oh man, that's $1,800 of your yearly income. Lots of cash, at least where I live. Emissions are quite high. That's what you get for running an engine on outdated technology. And the economy is quite bad for that sort of engine. Production units, material cost is pretty high, and the engineering time is pretty moderate. Oh, and it got a straighter and a reverse flow muffler, plus a high flow 3-way catalytic converter. Now let's listen to the motor. Now I look at the engine. Look at that exhaust. Look at it. Are you still wondering why is it called a basket of snakes? Also, that's how a race intake in a carburetor works. That's it. And 6 throttle bodies. That's a lot of throttle bodies. But time for the sound. It even sounds like a diesel. But then we rev it up. And at that sort of RPMs, you don't really believe it's a diesel, do you? And it's redlining now. It will also have twin turbos, so imagine a turbo blast off sound like oh, it wasn't the opportune moment for a turbo blow-off sound. If you're at the top revs and you hear a turbo blow-off sound, that means you're gonna be paying some real high service bills. But now, no, I'm really good at sound effects. Okay, that's it. Alpha Mike Foxtrot.